4 game masters rolled a big d20 to determine one prompt they would each write a one-shot adventure about. That brilliant idea came from Skyler, the ADHDM, and along with Niko from Dicebrain and Adrian from Dungeons & Degrees, I was happy to oblige. We rolled our d20 and discovered our theme, When the Swallows Fly Low. The big question mark being, how different can the adventures be when starting from the same one prompt? When it comes to mine, I can tell you this much. It's a mystery adventure. This video shall be a walkthrough of it, and as always you can easily find the PDF for free. But this time, let's make a game out of it. Instead of me telling you what's going on right away, let's see if you can solve the mystery as you watch before I reveal the culprit. I highly encourage you to go watch this video to find out more about the challenge, and I will meet you back here very soon. Welcome back. Our story begins in the audience seats of the prestigious Birdsong Theater, named after the swallows that nest around the building. Only the finest elite of dance and circus arts have the privilege of walking upon that stage. And you have the privilege of attending a show, you lucky thing. Even more so because tonight is special. The Birdsong Theater's formidable reputation was born with the Flight of the Swallows, its signature show that was performed for the first time decades ago. And each year, after a month of preparation and taxing rehearsals, a new iteration of the show is unveiled to the audience, each time more grandiose than the previous year. Tonight is opening night. You take your seat in the audience, amazed at the trapezes flying right above you, completely unaware of the tragedy that's about to take place. To every show there is a star, one that shines brighter than all the other performers combined. Here we call her the Crowned Swallow. The show's leading role, basking in prestige and glory, the object of admiration and deep envy. Everyone dreams to be cast in that role, but only the very best will receive that honor. This year, her name is Clementia. As she's about to make her great entrance, the audience whispers, brimming with excitement. Finally she appears, holding onto a hoop suspended dozens of feet above the stage. But something is wrong. She's hanging onto the hoop with one hand, shaking with fear, until she lets go and lets herself fall. There is screaming in all directions. From the audience, from the performers, from the backstage where someone is yelling for a healer. And in the midst of this chaos, towards the back of the stage, a white curtain unfolds. With big red bold letters spelling out, "You should have picked me." In a matter of minutes, the audience is ushered out of the theater and the curtain closes, eclipsing the scene. So what now? There are good news and bad news. The bad news is the message in red letters tells us this was no accident and there is definitely foul play here. The good news is Clementia survived. Maybe even thanks to the help of the players who may have slowed her fall or healed her quickly enough. Once the dust has settled, be it the next morning or later that night, the party is summoned. Madame Villemont, the authoritative and intimidating figure who runs the Birdsong Theater, leads the players into her office. She knows this was no incident, she suspects each of the performers, and she's determined to find out who it is that tried to ruin her show. And so, you've got yourselves a job. Perhaps the most obvious first step is speaking with the victim herself, who is shaken but safe. First, Clementia did not voluntarily let herself fall, she would never. But she felt strange before entering the stage. She knows the entire process by heart, almost like muscle memory. Adjusting her costume, walking from the dressing rooms to the scaffolding above the stage, just like clockwork. But something was wrong this time. She was aware of her movements, but it felt more like witnessing them than willing them. When she realized it wasn't just her going through the motions in a state of stress, it was too late. When she got onto the hoop, instead of sitting on it as usual, she climbed down and let herself hang from one hand. And no matter how much she tried to will herself back up, she couldn't. She wasn't in control, she was terrified, until her hand let go of the hoop. Madame Villemont's best bet is that someone poisoned her, but is that really the most plausible answer? Speaking with Clementia should also give us some insight about the atmosphere of the theater. She has been molded into shape through relentless critique and training, her sense of self ground down to a powder. And we'll soon find out she's not the only performer struggling. Is this constant pursuit of perfection taking a psychological toll on them? Or is there something else at play? Though the performers don't know about it, there is a magical effect cursing the theater. And the party is not immune to it. The moment they step onto the stage, the PCs have to make a wisdom save. And because this is a roleplay focused adventure, the consequences of failing shall be roleplay prompts. Infected by the theater's aura of rivalry and competition, the culture gains a flaw. Perhaps they start focusing so much on their insecurities that they think everyone is judging them behind their backs. Or maybe they're determined to belittle someone they envy. Luckily though, the moment they step off the stage, the effect ends. But by that time, some fun drama could already have come up to the surface. Talking about the stage, this is where the performers have been instructed to stay while waiting to be interrogated. The performers whisper both rumors and accusations, and it's the party's job to figure out truth from lies. Some of them are pointing fingers to a performer named Adelaide who wanted the leading role so bad but isn't even that good a dancer. She still didn't get cast as the crowned swallow this year. Maybe she just decided to take matters into her own hands. Some others think Clementia actually did let herself fall. Either she couldn't handle the pressure of being crowned swallow and wouldn't admit to it, or she's straight up going crazy from stress. Because she's been completely paranoid ever since she got cast. So who's right? If we dig a little deeper, it's not that easy. The girl who was accused, Adelaide, seems like the sweetest thing in the world. Her mother used to dance at the theater and always believed in her, always thought she'd become crowned swallow. Now that her mother has passed, Adelaide just wanted to honor her. But she would never hurt someone for the role, she doesn't even like performing all that much. In all honesty, her dream really is to become a musician. On the other hand, some performers who are close to Clementia tell us that in the past few weeks, her behavior was quite disturbing. She would get terrible nightmares and say that she was being observed and followed. When the rumor started that she couldn't handle the pressure, she just stopped telling anyone about it. Either she was lying, or she's losing her mind, or there maybe really is someone stalking her. And on top of that, during the interrogations, the PC with the highest passive perception spots movement in the audience area. It's a bird, a swallow actually, but translucent and almost glowing. But of course, that perceptive character is the only one to see it. And the moment they turn to look at it again, the bird is gone. Vanished. Still, there is more to investigate. Impatient to find out who is guilty, Madame Villemont has given you full access into the theater. And that includes the dressing rooms, where the performers' personal belongings are kept. From the first look into that corridor, something is odd. On the wall, there are portraits lined up of all the performers who over the years have had the privilege of being cast as the crowned swallow. But on all these portraits, there is a big claw mark. If you have figured out the mystery at this point, you're good. But I'll give one last clue. In the dressing rooms, there is a small wooden box on Adelaide's vanity. Inside, an old folded drawing made by a child. It pictures a woman, and who we assume is her daughter, both wearing the crowned swallow costume. Along with the drawing, there is an old folded letter. It reads, "My little bird, you deserve all the applause. I cannot wait for the entire world to see it as I do, my crowned swallow." And you've seen this handwriting before, in big, bold red letters. I think there was enough clues. Time to see what's really going on. Truth is, the Birdsong Theater was never a healthy environment. It's a place poisoned with envy, rivalry, and competition. Years ago, there was a performer named Heliana. Like many others, being cast as the crowned swallow was her dream, one that became an obsession. Her entire youth was spent in relentless practice. And when that youth was gone along with her dream, Heliana projected it onto her daughter Adelaide, encouraging and pressuring her to walk in her footsteps. When Heliana passed away due to illness about a year ago, she did not find rest. Her ghost now lingers in the theater, consumed with envy and corrupting the theater further. That magical effect on the stage, that's just the manifestation of her presence. Adelaide, of course, has no idea. And when Clementia was cast, eclipsing her precious daughter, Heliana snapped. She possessed Clementia, controlling her body into letting her fall dozens of feet down. And she does not mean to stop there. This is where the GM has to be a bit sneaky. While the party is investigating the dressing rooms, a lot happens in the background. First, Heliana possesses her daughter Adelaide. By default, she wants to take out her anger on Madame Villemont, who never cast her or her daughter. But depending on what happened in your game, the victim and the person being possessed may be different people. Either case, while in disguise through possession, she finds an excuse to lead her victim up to the catwalk in which she lays. In case you're unfamiliar with that term, in theater, the catwalk is a complex scaffolding structure suspended high above the stage. The PCs hear screams coming from the stage. Remember the glowing little bird from before? As a ghost, Heliana has the power to summon ghostly swallows to her aid, and swarms of them are flying down to attack the performers. In the meantime, more screams are echoing from the catwalk where Heliana is keeping her victim hostage. Once the players have made it past the swallows and up the catwalk, hopefully helping the performers in the process, there are many ways this could go. Especially as we are standing dozens of feet above ground, and Heliana would be more than happy to shove people off or call more swallows to help her. Of course, her possessing Adelaide also complicates things, but there is also a way to resolve this peacefully. Heliana is torn between two sides of herself. Though they may be faint, echoes of who Heliana used to be still exist, and appealing to that side of her could appease her ghost. Reminding Heliana of her love for Adelaide or making her realize what she's doing to her daughter, that's key to reaching her. If it works, Heliana now appears exhausted, desperate, but calmer. Heliana can be put to rest if her wish is finally fulfilled, if she finds the spotlight she always craved. This can be done by allowing her to perform the Crown Swallow's number, unless your players have another idea. Maybe you manage to destroy Heliana through combat, but without closure, remains of her essence linger in the theater. Until dispelled somehow, the magical aura of envy on the stage remains and the cycle continues. But at least the theater is safe from ghost attacks. In the worst case scenario in which Heliana survives combat and escapes, she loses her humanity entirely and forgets her love even for her own daughter. She wanders for a place that harbors envy entirely beyond redemption, just looking for her next place to haunt. But maybe your players have chosen an empathetic approach, and Heliana's last words to her daughter encourage her to pursue her own path. And a month later, the party is invited to the second attempt at the show's opening night. Madame Vilmont seems to have understood the kind of pressure that the theater can foster, and she's taken a few steps to making a change. As for Adelaide, she plays in the orchestra this time, and the show, indeed marvelous, would have made Heliana proud. And so concludes our story. I wonder if you were able to figure out the mystery before the solution, and I would love to hear if that format is fun for you. As always, if you play this adventure, please let me know your thoughts. As for myself, I am heading off to find out what adventures my fellow GMs have come up with, and I hope you will do the same. On this note, good evening, and may your path be safe from any vengeful ghosts.